我42岁，没有结婚，也没有小孩。
I am 42 years old, not married, no kids. I often ask myself one question. What if I stay single forever? What if I get sick one day, lying in a hospital bed with no one there to take care of me? When I was in my 20s and 30s, I never thought about things like that. I always felt young, never in a rush. I believed I would eventually meet the right person. But as time goes by and I grow older, I find myself feeling lonelier, more fearful, more anxious. Some people tell me, you're lucky, you don't have the mess and trouble that come with marriage or raising kids. But honestly, I'm terrified, scared of growing old alone, and even more afraid of facing sickness and loneliness with no one by my side. This blogger is 34 years old. After graduating from university, she has been working for a foreign company in Shanghai. She said that when she was younger, she was influenced by too much so-called toxic chicken soup. Those motivational quotes telling women not to get married, that men can't be trusted, and that women should be independent and rely on themselves to buy a house and a car. So after graduation, she made her career her top priority and never really put effort into dating or finding a partner.
到现在工作10年。
I have been working for 10 years now. I bought a car and saved some money. The only reason I haven't bought a house is that I've never really had a new family. I don't even know where I should buy one. Looking back, I feel I was misled entirely by all that toxic chicken soup. At 34, after 10 years of hard work, others my age already have families, kids, houses, and cars. But I'm still drifting alone in another city. Every day after work, I go home to an empty place with no one to talk to, and I wonder what's the point of earning all this money. As the wedding day approached, she suddenly asked the groom to add another $7,000 to the bride price. The man firmly refused and decided to call off the engagement. The woman was filled with regret, but it was already too late. You guys know I already compromised with my fiancé. I told him I didn't need that extra $7,000 bride price. I was even willing to return all the money I'd already received. Shasha, you know how rich he is. $7,000 means nothing to him. But now he's gone, he won't even marry me anymore. Try calling him, his phone's not connecting now. It's not connecting, he's completely disappeared. These days, women like me, older and still single, we really can't compete anymore. Getting married is getting more complicated, especially for someone like me over 35. I honestly don't know what else I can do. The competition among older single women is just getting tougher. I can't help but feel a bad premonition. Am I about to be eliminated from the game? Now you see so many women saying they don't want a house, a car, a bride price, or any of the traditional gold gifts. Some are even more extreme. Not only do they give up those things, but they pay out of pocket, offering tens of thousands of RMB to the man. I don't even know what kind of jobs they have. How can they afford to go that far? As for me, I can't possibly offer that much. At most, a few tens of thousands of RMB. There's really nothing I can do anymore. I guess I have to accept my fate. I've been on only 2 blind dates in my life, and honestly, not a single one of those men seemed normal. Guys, tell me, do you think I still have a chance to get married? Let me tell you about this one guy I met when I went back to Inner Mongolia for a blind date. He said he was 1.8 meters tall, but when I met him, he weighed 180 jin. We agreed to meet at Starbucks at 4 p.m., and I was the first to arrive. I ordered myself a cup of coffee, not sure what he liked, so I thought I'd wait until he came to order his. But I finished my whole coffee and he still hadn't shown up. He finally arrived at 5 o'clock. By then, I had utterly lost the mood to wait and was already thinking about leaving. The blogger said she was about to leave, but then thought, well, since I'm already here, I might as well see what kind of person this guy is, someone who shows up an hour late. When they finally started talking, she realized that this guy couldn't say a single sentence without mentioning his mom. For example, he said things like, my mom thinks you're great, or my mom says you'd be a good wife. So she asked him, what do you think about me? He replied, I'll just go with whatever my mom says. The blogger said she felt utterly helpless and speechless at that moment, completely drained. In her video, she sighed and said, guys, tell me, what's wrong with me? Why can't I ever meet the right person? Why am I going to end up alone forever?
我89年的，36岁。
I was born in 1989. I'm 36, still not married, no kids. Do you dare to come with me, ID in hand, to get a marriage certificate and sign a contract, the kind where once we're married, neither of us is allowed to betray the other? If you betray me, don't say a word, walk away with nothing. But if I ever do something wrong to you, then the car, the house, and all the savings are yours. I'll leave with nothing. So, do you dare? In Beijing, the most heartbreaking moment for an older single woman is realizing that the man she once thought wasn't good enough for her was actually the best she could ever hope to find. Yesterday, a woman born in 1990 came to my office to sign up for a matchmaking service. She told me that last year her boss introduced her to a guy born in 1988, a senior executive at a listed company earning about $50,000 a year and the only child in his family. But his net height, as she described it, was under 1.7 meters and his looks were just average, like any random guy on the street. The two of them dated on and off for about 3 months. The man was quite proactive. He was eager to settle down and get married. The woman had good qualifications too. She had a master's degree from studying abroad and also an only child, and already owned both a house and a car. The man wanted to move things forward quickly and make it official, heading toward marriage. The blogger said that because she thought the guy was average looking, she always felt hesitant, believing she couldn't just settle for anyone. Her attitude gradually grew colder, and over time, the man sensed her distance and eventually gave up on the relationship entirely. Over the following year, she went on blind dates with 7 or 8 other men, but none of them worked out. This only made her more anxious. It wasn't until one day when she listed all her past blind date candidates along with their qualifications that she realized, in terms of job, income, and education, the first guy was actually the best match she had ever met. She went to her matchmaker and asked if there were any other men with similar qualifications. The matchmaker sighed and said, "Last year you were 33. That was basically the last red line for finding unmarried men. Now you're almost 35. No matter how accomplished you are, past this age, you're basically limited to men who have been divorced." Upon hearing this, the woman completely broke down. The matchmaker said softly, "That's just how harsh reality is." I was born in 1989, so I'm 36 this year, and I still haven't married or had children. I really want to tell young women, if you meet the right person, don't wait, get married as soon as you can. Before I turned 30, I worked hard to achieve some of my own dreams, buying a house and a car, renovating my home, and saving money. But now, what's it gotten me? I'm stuck too high for some, too low for others. Men with better qualifications than I won't consider me. They'll go for someone younger. Men on the same level as me are already married with kids, and I couldn't bring myself to break up someone else's family. Men with lower qualifications than me, I'm unwilling to compromise that bar. The blogger said that realistically, the men she could hope to marry now would mostly be taking care of someone else's children, simply because the pool of options is so small. So her advice to young women is clear: if you meet the right person, marry. I think that when going on blind dates, it's best to stick to splitting the bill. If the person isn't a good match, you finish the meal and leave. Don't waste each other's time. If it doesn't feel right, you can remove them from your contacts and stop chatting. If I feel the person is okay, then he can pay for the first meal, and I'll pay for the next one. Before a romantic relationship is confirmed, I think this is the fairest approach. No one owes anyone anything. Also, I believe that when confirming a romantic relationship, couples should avoid living together. I think it's better to only live together after marriage, which protects both parties. How many times have you come here? This is my first time. First time, huh? Have you found anyone suitable here? No, the options here are terrible. Either construction workers or security guards. How old are you? I'm 33. 33, and you look down on construction workers and security guards. How much do you earn a month? $530 a month. What do you do for work? I am a waitress. A waitress earning $530 and you look down on security guards? Come on, that's ridiculous. I think you're being way too exaggerated. I feel like I'm very accomplished. Accomplished? Tell me, where exactly? Besides my income, I think I'm excellent in other ways too. I can cook and I'm considerate toward men. You work as a waitress here, earning $530 a month, and those men working on construction sites or as security guards earn about $800 a month. You two are actually a good match. So, why do you look down on them? I feel like they can't change my life. Why should I be with them? I'd rather live alone. Being single means no one tells me what to do. I'm so free. Some online commenters comment, she earns $530 a month, yet she feels so confident and looks down on others. Maybe being single is actually the most suitable outcome for her.
年轻人，尤其是女性。
Some young people, especially women, have accumulated significant online loan and credit card debt due to excessive or premature spending. When they are unable to repay, they turn to the marriage market, hoping to use marriage as a shortcut to find a partner with good financial standing who can help share or even cover these debts. Industry insiders have revealed that their target profile is apparent. The system of housing and job security, coupled with a column-like negotiation style, is highly misleading. For example, they say they don't want a dowry and they don't mind if you're divorced, but the core requirement is joint debt repayment after marriage. Some even explicitly require the man to earn $4,200 per month because they have $2,800 in monthly mortgage payments and $1,400 in living expenses. I have a strong feeling that this year many women will be rushing to get married, even pressuring their partners to borrow money for the bride price. But many men are genuinely exhausted. They've just given up and decided not to get married because they can't afford it or don't want the burden. I strongly suspect that in less than 3 years, many women will completely panic. They'll turn to their boyfriends and ask, I don't want anything now, no house, no car, so why won't you marry me? The current matchmaking market is seriously unbalanced. There are far more women than men, but the men have already lain flat and aren't willing to participate because they know it's a trap. I want to give a warning to all men. If you're in a hurry to get married, slow down. Recently, there's been a trend called marriage to pay off debt woman. Not sure if you've heard of it. These are girls who appear to be very sophisticated, like those dainty pig girl types. These girls generally come from less well-off families, yet they're still quite vain, adoring brand-name cosmetics and bags. However, their monthly salary is only around $420, and they constantly borrow money to maintain their lavish lifestyle. When they finally can't pay back their debts, they try to use the bride price or their partner's salary to repay what they owe. Some women have even turned this into a deliberate strategy. The blogger warns everyone to be cautious of women like this. Several men have already been hurt this way. She advises that before getting married, it's crucial to understand and investigate your partner thoroughly. Don't skip necessary checks just because you're embarrassed or afraid of losing their trust. Checking for existing debts before marriage is a crucial step to avoid serious problems later. I'd rather reject a potential member than skip checking their financial status and proof of assets. Recently, many beautiful women from 3rd and 4th tier cities have come to me, all beautiful, but I've refused every single one. These women have clear goals. They're looking for a partner to help them pay off their debts. They focus on men in Guangzhou who have houses and cars and are well off. They say they don't care about the bride price, and some even claim they're okay with divorced men. But when I ask about their financial situation, they quietly admit to having several credit cards and other debts, hoping the man can help. One told me she owed about 10,000 RMB. At that point, I realized this was just debt repayment under the guise of matchmaking, which was even more extreme than demanding a high bride price. The blogger warns men looking for matches in Guangzhou to be especially cautious of women who immediately say, I don't have any requirements. They may seem easygoing, but hidden risk could be lurking. Remember, what seems free often ends up being the most expensive. How could people be so wicked? I went to a matchmaking agency 2 days ago and experienced their tricks. The matchmaker mentioned that one of her clients owed several 100,000 RMB and eventually found a partner who paid it all off. I was shocked and skeptical, so I looked online and discovered that there are really cases of women using relationships to pay off debts and even methodological guides shared online. There are generally 2 types. Women who are outgoing and have substantial advantages use their appeal to manipulate men, securing the bride price around the time of engagement, then find excuses to break up. Women of average looks or without particular skills skip the bride price altogether and instead try to gain control over the man's income to pay off their debts. When discovered, they move on to the next boyfriend. The amounts involved are usually smaller, and men typically don't bother pursuing the matter. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.